Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Luke, bringing you another Elder Scrolls Online build, this time with the Nightblade. We will be trying something slightly different from what you would typically see, which is probably a trend you might see here on this channel a little bit. Last build was a one-handed shield DPS, you can pull upwards of 40k on live. This one can actually pull higher. So the first thing you'll probably notice is this time around we're going to be using a two-hander and Duel Wield. Wanted to kind of stray away from that two-hander bow combo that you typically see from Stamina DPS, and wanted to still pull pretty high numbers, and this does that, and it does it really well. So, few things to keep in mind. Once again, we are still on PTS, and those light and heavy attack changes are still in effect, so our light attacks are doing 70% less damage, and what I've seen is anywhere from a 2 to 4k decrease in DPS. So whatever we pull here, the numbers that I'll show you, you can add anywhere from 2 to 4k at your leisure based on your skill level, wherever you think you would be in the game. So do keep that in mind. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into stats. So I am playing a Khajiit this time around. Once again, Orc is a really good choice. I wanted Khajiit for the higher crit damage. Pretty much any of the stamina races, Red Guard, Wood Elf, anything is going to pull really, really good. But for our front bar, all of this is unbuffed minus food. We're pulling 30-51 weapon damage, 48% critical. We are running the Shadowstone, and once again, for parsing purposes, we are using the Lavafoot Soup. 34k max stamina. That would drop by probably 1 or 2k. Once again, in normal PVE content, you do not want to be running this food. Rather, you probably want to be using Dubious Camoran Throne or Clockwork if you are able to get your hands on that. Back bar, we've got 27, 17, and 41% critical. These will go up with our abilities that are slotted on our bar and our potion, which is obviously very important. So those are our stats for front and back bar. Let's do gear next. We are running a heavy Selene Monster Helm and light Selene Shoulders, both Stamina Enchanted and Divines. Body pieces, once again, are Perfected Reliquant. Divines and Stamina. This is perfectly acceptable to run normal Reliquant if you wish. If you're not able to get your hands on Perfect, you're just going to be missing out on that 1000 Stamina. Not a big deal. For our weapons and jewelry, we will be running Aegis Collar, which is going to give us a pretty big damage boost, and it also adds us that nice 129 Stam recovery, so if you're actually playing on something like an Orc or a Khajiit, that's pretty nice. We're running Bloodthirsty on the jewelry, and for our main weapon, we're running a Nirn-honed Greatsword. It is also using poison. We're using crown poisons. If you can craft something better than this, by all means. And this is where the build kind of takes a turn that you may or may not expect, but we are using the Master's Duel Wield. In my instance, I'm using an axe and a dagger, both infused traits with the weapon damage enchantment, just so that we're making sure that we're proccing that every single chance that we get. Let's go ahead and hop into skills. There are a few flex slots that you can use should you wish, and I'll explain those after I go through all the abilities. On our front bar, we're using Camo Hunter, Consuming Trap, Wrecking Blow, Relentless Focus, Executioner, and Incap Strike. On our back bar, we are using Deadly Cloak, Razor Caltrops, Rending Slashes, Leeching Strikes, Barbed Trap, and Incap Strike once again. So for our front bar, our number 1 slot here is really a flex if you wish. This is where if you need to put Vigor on your bar, you could. This is the slot to do that with, because you'll be getting your Major Savagery from your potions. Also, on our back bar, Razor Caltrops, you'll be getting Major Fracture from your tank. This is more for parsing purposes. Although it does do a little bit of damage, Here you could put, I would say your Shade, but your Magicka Stain is probably not going to be able to handle that as a stamina user. Probably it's better just to put a placeholder, and I would recommend once again either Camo Hunter or Ring of Preservation if you need a little bit of extra healing or just whatever reason. Primarily for, of course, your Slayer passive, but that ability is really up to you. You could put your Vigor back there if you wish and keep Camo Hunter up front. It's really whatever you want to do. Yeah, so let's go ahead and go over rotation. This one is real simple. Our Deadly Cloak is essentially acting like your Endless Hail if you're using a bow. And there's actually a lot of advantages to running this as opposed to Endless Hail, because this travels with you rather than in a group of enemies that, you know, a pre-made shot. So we've all had that experience where your tank will run in, you'll fire your Endless Hail, the tank leads all the adds or the boss out of it, or it's just a mechanic, the boss runs out. No longer is that a struggle with Deadly Cloak. That stays on you, so as long as you're close to whatever you're hitting, it's going to take a lot of damage. Rending Slashes, once again, basically mimics our Poison Arrow. That's pretty much the explanation for those two abilities. Just keep that in mind. That's what those two function as. If it's kind of confusing you, think of this as your Endless Hail and this as your Poison Injection. So you want to start by pre-buffing with Relentless and Leeching. You then want to drink your potion and drop your Barber Trap. You want to do Deadly Cloak, Caltrops if you've got it, Rending Slashes, Bar Swap, Consuming Trap, 3 heavy attacks, or 3 Wrecking Blows, excuse me, with light attacks in between, of course. And if by that point your arrow is ready, which it should be, go ahead and fire it. I tend to fire my arrow at the end of the 3 hits and not in between them, because that tends to allow me to do the rotation quicker. So it looks more something like this. 1, 2, 3, and then I would fire the arrow, and then I can start over. Your Barbed Trap and Leeching Strikes only need to be applied every other rotation, and that's basically it. You want to activate your in-cap strike whenever available. If you're parsing, make sure to use it. What I like to do is I'll go through my whole back bar, and when I get to my front bar, I'll then use in-cap, because it allows me to pull the most damage as I can from my spammable. One other thing to note, that's pretty darn cool. Our Wrecking Blow here on PTS grants Empower for 5 seconds to our heavy attacks, which means that we're actually hitting for far less than we would on live. So our heavy attacks are already doing 70% less, and we're losing out on that 40% that Empower would normally grant us on live. So this is not hitting nearly as hard as it will be in live, and we're pulling really high numbers. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show you a quick rotation with it, and we'll go over some of the numbers that I've pulled, and yeah, we'll talk live numbers after. So here we go. Relentless, Leeching, Potion, and we're off. So, that was actually a lower pull than what I typically get, but we still got 37. Once again, I'll go over with you. For 3 million dummy parsing, best thing that you can really do is 35k. That's going to be what you really want to shoot for to do high-end content extremely well. 30k is going to allow you to do that content and do it pretty decently, but 35k is really where you want to try to hit. So you can see even on PTS with our really weak light attacks, especially with the two-hander, we still were able to hit 37k. Like I said, that's actually a little bit lower than what I've been pulling. So here I actually pulled a 38.9, so that's essentially 39k right there. Here we've got a 40k in a minute 15. Here we have another 37, once again kind of on the lower end, 37, and another 39. So we're averaging somewhere in the 38, 39, 40 area at our best. And so like I said, add 2 to 4k to that, and you're going to be hitting well over 40k with this build. Like I said, it's got a lot of advantages. Your AoEs are going to follow you because you're using Deadly Cloak. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. If there's something maybe we could do better on rotation or something like that. Keep in mind, once again, this is completely viable for any content that you want to do in the game. I mean, it's pulling extremely high numbers. It's got really good survivability. It's got a few flex slots. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you liked it, and I will see you next time. Peace out.